So today we're going to fire up the Hothead and just go through a few of the first steps of what you would do. This thing's kind of loud, so I'm hoping that you guys will be able to hear me over it. I'm going to demonstrate with the Hothead on very low. By the looks of things, the camera's even going to pick up the flame. It's hard for me to see the flame here in the daylight. I worked a little bit last night in the dark because I was having problems. Made a couple of cool little implosion drops. I guess the camera's not going to focus. I'll get you a still shot of it then. But for our first project today, we're just going to make a gather on the end of a rod. Now, first thing I'm going to demonstrate is how not to heat up a rod. I repeat, how not to heat up a rod. Now, you take one of these large ones. We'll take this here. It's some form of orange. They weren't labeled when they came. But it's really thick. This thing's probably 10 millimeters, maybe 12. It's a hand pull rod. Now, you're supposed to come in nice and slow up here. Nice and slow. But if you just stick it in, let me get my feet back. If you just shove it in here, oh, it's going to make a liar out of me. Maybe you can just put orange to the flame. Well, I guess we're going to start lamp working. So, first thing we're going to do is form a gather. Just want to heat up about an inch at the end of the rod. Spin it slowly back and forth. Now the sweet spot of the Hothead is right here where the end of that little blue taper comes out. This out here is great for heating or keeping stuff warm. Down here is really too close. You're going to get a real heavy reduction flame. The sweet spot's right there at the tip of that. We want to go elbow down, which means the end of the rod is pointed up. That's elbow down, this is elbow up. We want to go elbow down so that the glass can flow down the rod and create a gather. Excuse me, but it's early here and I'm still waking up. And this doesn't take real long to do. Nobody really tells about the time frame to do anything, or how hard you pull to make stringers, or how hard you blow to blow a bubble in a tubing. So we're going to hopefully cover all those easy, simple things that, a lot of questions I had that I just couldn't find the answers to, even on YouTube or on a lot of the glass working websites. And see how we're starting to get that gather. It's all nice and smooth. At this point, we can pull stringers, which is what we're going to do here next with our next. So there's a gather. Just a nice ball. And if you're going to make a marble or something large, you would start with this here and go from there. But our next project here on this video is going to be to make a stringer. So once you have your gather there, it's not real big. I don't need a real big one. When you grab it, I pinch it once and then I pull it out. And now this is not a hard pull at all. And it's cooling down, so you stop. And that's, I don't know, probably a little bit larger than 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeter stringer. Now I'm going to grab the end of it and flame cut this off. Just grab it and twist it slightly. Clean up the end of this because we have plans for this. We're going to make a mushroom implosion pendant this afternoon. That'll be in another video. And there it is. Just a simple gather pulled into a stringer. The stringer's about 4.5, 5 inches long. Didn't take a whole lot of glass to do that. So that's a stringer. Stringers are easy to be made many sizes, and technically rods are just stringers pulled from a large gather. So now, my daughter's going to be Sacagawea in an upcoming school thing that they're running with historical figures. So, Sacagawea wore quite beautiful turquoise jewelry. So, we're going to, now this blue rod here, I'll show you. And it may be that the translucents like to break more than the opaques. But now this is how you do not heat a rod. You don't just stick it in. And again, this sucker's probably going to do it. Just to counterdict me. we're going to do now is we're going to make some 2-color blue twisties. The reason we're doing this is I'm working towards, we're going to be making some fake turquoise nuggets later today to make some beads for my daughter's necklace for to be Sacagawea. That's what she's going to be Sacagawea. But make a stringer, again, we just build up a gather. Now twisties work just like stringers, only we're dealing with 2 colors. Since we're going to be, you know, basically faking turquoise, we're going to heat up some turquoise rod. See? There it popped. Yeah, I finally got one to break. That's how you don't preheat a rod. See how it popped off? Don't do that. Come out here further. And this rod here may have been dropped, and that might be why it's breaking like that. So we're going to flip over to the lighter turquoise. We'll kind of keep our gather warm here. It's molten now to where it's not fighting gravity anymore. I mean, keep it rotating. Now to make this stringer, we're just simply going to go like this here. Nope, not yet, not hot enough. Have to be absolutely cherry red to be able to lay it on that other rod. Yeah, this rod here cracked. Actually, instead of swirling blue on blue, nice gather there. I think this would be a nice mix. Let's swirl some blue with green. Repeat the end of that green rod a little bit. And you want to mix your transparents with your opaques because you get great swirl that way. It adds depth. Move that blue right down into the sweet spot. Now you'll see the green starting to come in from the top as I'm heating it up. It's a large rod. You can see the rod starting to change color as they heat up. They really do. They completely change color while they're in the flame. Here we go. Ah, it won't come off. Like I said, I'm just starting, guys. This is learning for me just like it is for you guys that are watching. I am no professional by anybody's stretch of the imagination. There we go. Got that piece back off there now. Get that gathered back into the flame. Keep that green rod back. And you see the stress crack here in this green rod. I don't know if you see it or not. This whole end is probably going to pop off. It has a stress crack here. I guess the glass got beat up pretty bad in transit. Well, I didn't notice that before I picked that rod up. Well, I want to use it. And I think we'll put one more on there yet. Ah, see, it's popping off. Yep, see the stress crack right here is going to kill us. That may even make it pop right there. I tried to lay it right over the stress crack. So now we're going to start heating this rod up. I'm done playing. Again, we want to go elbow down. You see there how the green's turning kind of a little bit darker green? That's how we know that the rod is heating up. You just go ramming it in there, well, you see what happens. It pops off. This really isn't no joke. I'm completely probably out of frame. I can't see. I have to get a production assistant. Any of you people out there in YouTube land want to come and be my production assistant? The pay sucks, but the art's great. If this rod doesn't pop, I'll be shocked. Come back in here and get another gather going on the blue, because I really want that third stripe. I want a tri-spin. I do. I really want that tri-spin. A little bit more there yet. Fixing up some of these spots here where the smear pulled off. And that is going to make our game, our Twisty game. Now what we're looking to do here is melt this blue in, so we're kind of staying elbow neutral. Just keeping it moving so that we don't sink, because it is fighting gravity. As you see, it's no longer staying vertical. This is a really thick rod. Again, this is a 10, maybe 12 millimeter rod that we're going to turn into this Twisty cane. Right in the sweet spot of the torch. While we're heating this up, I'm going to smoke a cigarette. Everybody grab your cigarettes. Now's the time. The beauties of working with a torch. And all glasses are not cohesive together. Now we're going to cheat here and use the mashers and smash this in. I'm going extreme elbow down here because I want to try to get as much of this rod heated up where the blue stringer's on it. And the reason being is because I want to make a nice fat long Twisty to make some implosion, and it's a little later today. I don't have a whole lot of translucent rod or clear rod, so we're going to make some funky different colored ones today, and I got to make some beads. Well, you guys just stick around, subscribe to the video series, you'll see it all. You see how this is starting to melt in now? We're looking to turn this back into a single rod. Make those streaks of light blue disappear. Now we're going to go back to elbow neutral. We're going to put it right down here in the sweet spot of the flame. Nice and smooth. It's not smooth and perfectly round yet, but we're melted in now. So now we can heat that up. Got to grab my punny rod over here. This is just a piece of clear glass that I used last night to punny onto the other end of glass pieces. We'll start heating old Punny Bill up here. That's his name. His name's Bill. Get used to seeing him. He'll be around for a lot of videos. We're going to heat up Bill a little bit. We're going to do what's called a hot glass seal. See? Bill even popped. Don't get excited. Rods do break and pieces fly, so be sure you're in a safe working environment. And we're going to stick them together. They're outside the flame. Please excuse my cough. The allergies are killing me this year. Bad year. The piece that you're going to punny onto really has to be red hot. I tried a little too soon there. I'm trying to rush for the video. I need to just slow down and do it right. Just going to turn this a little bit until we get to where punny's attached. Pull it slightly. And by pulling it, it gives you a good strong attachment. I mean, it's straight up and down. So now we're going to go back into the flame and start heating up our gather. Cool off just a little bit, and we're going to start twisting. Twisting and pulling out slightly. Woo! Then you lose your grip and it gets really exciting. You can always come back in here and add heat to thin it back out. That's not an issue. We're going to cut it off right there. And of course you can't see. I'll get a still shot of this. It's a real nice bi-color cane. Got that little string off there. There we go. It's a real nice bi-color twisted cane. I'll show that to you in a close-up. You know, we still have this hunk of glass on the end of the green rod here, so we're going to do a little something with that while we're at it. Alright, so now what we're going to do with that, we're going to make a quick bead. Just because, well, I don't like to really have messy stuff around. Standard bead mandrel. Bead release. We're going to dip it, you pull it up, you shake it. I put the real thin layer, it's almost like clay, onto the mandrel. Now this is flame dry bead release. So I can dry it right here in the flame. Some stuff has to sit overnight to air dry. Check your particular product. This stuff here, when it stops smoking, it's done. And it stops steaming, so it's done. You gotta love to instantly have a mandrel ready just because you have extra glass. Spend the extra money for the flame dry, it's worth every cent. Oh, now we come back in here. Oops, now this rock is cooled completely down. And that's a nightmare. Sometimes pieces fall in the torch. And really what I've discovered, the trick to learning when your glass is ready is when it stops fighting gravity. Or when it just decides to go with gravity, that's when you're ready to go into the hard flame and work really hard and hot. Right, an elbow down again. Doing all the heat to run up there to the tip. Tip's starting to get a little fluid, so we're going to bring in our mandrel, heat the mandrel up. We want the mandrel to be red hot. You know, I had a lot of questions like how hot is it to hold the glass, or do the mandrels get hot? You know, we're dealing with 2,300 degrees with propane, 4,000 degrees with MAP gas. So it's an honest question. And believe it or not, you can't even really feel the heat. Alright, so we're going to start laying this twirly on here. And I'm